Welcome to the AI for You Cafe for live presentations around AI. Today's presentation is themed Embodied Online Dancing and Partying with Digital Characters, Social Interaction and AI, with exciting speakers from the current European Innovation Council Pathfinder project called Carousel. Here we have today with us Kenny Mitchell. He's the technical director of rendering at Roblox and chair of video game technology at Edinburgh Napier University. We have Peter van der Linden, president of VividNet in Paris. Monica Tamares, assistant professor in psychology at Heriot-Watt University. We are still waiting for the speaker, Philip Slisalek, executive director of Saarbrücken and scientific director of research area on agents and simulated reality. And my name is Carmen Mcwilliams. I'm your organizer and today co-moderator of the AI for You Cafe. I'm the director of the company Grassroots Arts and partner in the European AI for You project. For this cafe session, I have asked Theresa Felchens, who you see next to me, our research assistant at Grassroots Arts. Hi, Theresa.
Hello.
Nice that you're here today and to co-moderate. So I can give myself a short introduction to the Carousel project, as I'm also the project manager of Carousel. So, and this is, as we just said, Theresa, and Theresa will now continue with the introduction. Would you be so nice?
So please take notice that this session will be recorded. If the speakers give their permission, you will find a published recording on the AI for EU Cafe video channel. No confidential information shall be shared in this cafe session. All speakers express their personal views and opinions. This is not the official AI for EU project opinion. The Web Cafe offers a series of live web sessions which take place regularly. The cafe is an online forum to gain insights into the European AI scene. Participants get the chance to share knowledge and experiences and meet stakeholders from various areas of AI research and application. Please feel free to promote the live cafe to your friends. We also encourage your interaction, so please write your questions to the speakers in the question panel, which is in the control panel. After the speakers finish their presentation, there will be a question and answer session, and I will read your questions to the speakers. This time, as Carmen already mentioned, the cafe session will be a multi-presenter format with 5 speakers from the current European Innovation Council Pathfinder Project Carousel on the EIC core topic, Social Interaction and AI. I will now give a more detailed introduction to the speakers. Our first speaker is Philip Slisalek. He is Executive Director at DFKI Saarbrücken and Scientific Director of the Research Area on Agents and Simulated Reality. He is also a Fellow of Eurographics, a member of ACATEC, and a member of the European High-Level Expert Group on Artificial Intelligence and co-founder of CLAIRE. Enabling to realistically interact in a physical way with a remote person or a virtual character in real time is a huge scientific challenge, but also highly motivating for the entire Carousel team to make it work for everyone. Our next speaker is Kenny Mitchell.
Kenny? You can show up, Kenny. Keep going.
Kenny is a, I'll just continue.
Yeah, sure.
Yay, hi Kenny. Philip is not yet there, that's why he's there, but he can only speak later.
Okay.
Yeah. So Kenny is a technical director of rendering at Roblox and chair of video game technology at Edinburgh Napier University, providing practical immersive media technology solutions with over 40 patents and 100+ peer-reviewed technical papers. He is also co-founder of 3finery Ltd, which is a spin-out of Edinburgh Napier University, bringing real-world objects to life. And he is non-executive director of Cobra Simulation, advising immersive technology products. In Carousel, Kenny holds the central position of scientific coordinator. Our next speaker is Peter van der Linden. Can you say hi, Peter?
Coming here.
Yeah, perfect.
Hello,
yeah.
hello, this is me.
This is
Hello.
Peter.
It's
I'm
not
briefly.
As president of VividNet, which is a Paris-based startup in technology and culture, Peter is leading dissemination, exploitation, and innovation in Carousel. Engineer, researcher, and entrepreneur and consultant, Peter has started many years ago as researcher on graphics and speech in man-machine interaction at, I hope I'm saying this correctly, Centre Mondial pour l'Informatique et les Ressources Humaines, which is, for everyone in English, Global Computing and Human Resource World Center. Participating at Carousel, Peter is very happy to go way beyond working with human feelings, musical rhythm, and creative expression. Our next speaker is Monica Tamares.
Oh, well,
Hi,
you said
Monica.
that.
Hello. She is an assistant professor in psychology at Heriot Watt University in Scotland. She is interested in the development and evolution of communication systems. She is also a dancer and teacher of Argentine tango. Within Carousel, she hopes to test the communicative affordances of the tactile channel in partner dance and beyond, and to explore how dancing remotely can promote joy. Last but not least, we have Carmen Mcwilliams, who many of you already know is the moderator of the AI for EU Café and also the project manager of Carousel and the director of the company Grassroots Arts and Research in Cologne, Germany. Hi, Carmen.
It's like, thank you, Teresa. And Philip is there. Can Philip just say hello? I see you, Philip, but no voice. Okay, so we start anyway. I will today introduce the project and give a short vision statement, and then it will be followed by the other speakers with problem and ambition by Peter and so on. So I have the pleasure to start. I'm now gonna have to switch my application. Then, so do you see it? Now it's my own. Yes.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, and we're not in full screen. So okay. So, Philip is here. Before I start, I hope that I saw you, Philip. Good. Philip is here. That's very good. So we already introduced you, Philip, but he came to us also as a speaker, which is great. So now to the introduction of the Carousel. Carousel is a project about dance. We want to dance together and have fun, even if I'm alone at home. We aim to combat loneliness through social and physical interaction over the internet. It is born, this project, during the pandemic, and most of us had this feeling of loneliness, maybe not before, but during the pandemic, many of us were locked in rooms. But even after the pandemic, many people stay locked in homes, maybe due to age or to health reasons or to other reasons. It's not easy for them to go out, or so it is for anybody who wants to dance with other people, even if you're not in the same space. Going on. And our consortium here, as we dance together, is very small. It's like the DFKI, the German Research Center for AI, my company, Grassroots Arts and Research, Edinburgh Napier University from Edinburgh, and VividNet from Paris, and Aalto University. And it was inspired by a song from Edith Piaf, Tu me fais tourner la tête, you make my head spin around. It's actually called Carousel, this song. It's a very passionate song. and it's longing to be together. It's all, this whole project is to not want to be alone, but longing to meet somebody, even if you are not in the same location. Also these pictures about the theater play you see there, and also the painting of Marc Chagall, also about feeling and longing to meet somebody. And it's the vision in the future. I may start anytime an open network party in my living room to dance together with others and feel good. So my dance partners are maybe user-driven avatars or autonomous AI agents. I do not care. I just feels good to dance together. And so we have our visions in our consortium how this dance party could look like. For example, like this, like a nice dance party, or like this, where people just sway together with like AI agents, which in this case are these teddy bears. Or you are in a fantastic dance hall and you dance tango or foxtrot or whatever you love also together. Or you are in a fantasy world and you have these kind of fantasy dreams and you can sit on big trees and plants and dance under a bell. And to just summarize my little introduction, as I said, there's the vision to make people feel better, dance together and overcome loneliness, and to change our capability how to share our imaginations and our motions and feel more connected with each other, even we are not in the same space. So here we have, like, we were inspired by the John Lennon song Imagine, and also the famous quote of the deceased scientist Stephen Hawking to the next generation: remember to look up at the stars, not down at your feet. Use your imagination to shape the future. With this, I want to invite you to join us and participate with us in our Carousel research community and party events. We have a website, we have a Discord channel, and we would love to see your ideas, because our ideas are just the beginning, how you could imagine an XR party. So again, please join. And now I give on to the next speaker, and that in this case is Peter van der Linden. I will make him the moderator. One moment. Peter, you should now be the moderator.
Yeah.
Yes, I see your...
Just a quick check, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you, Philip. You will come after Monica.
It's fine.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Does everybody hear me, see me, and see my slides?
Yes,
okay.
Everything.
Great. So, hello. So a quick introduction to, what is actually the problem addressed, what do we try to solve in Carousel, and finally, what is our ambition, meaning what would be our omega point of what we are doing. So Carousel is a research project on social and physical AI, and so a little introduction on the different authors. Sorry, speakers who will come. So the first one was Carmen, you just heard her. I'm myself, Peter van der Linden. I've been brilliantly introduced by Teresa, so I will not come back on that. Then we have a speech by Monica Tamares, and Monica is a psychologist, and she will, meaning it's not like, we are not about making some technology and throwing it over the wall. It's like trying to measure what it actually does on the people. It's about people, it's not about technology. And then there's the speech by Philip Slisalek around why do we need actually AI in this thing? What's the purpose of it? And finally, Kenny Mitchell, who is our scientific and technical director, will basically go through all the scientific and technological hurdles we have, and talk you through the achievements so far. Not so much, but they're already, and the next steps. Yeah. So what's the problem statement? The problem statement is that you know, there's more and more communication means around. There's a lot of online tools, email, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and so forth and so forth. But despite all these new tools, there's an increasing feeling of loneliness in the population. And we believe that that is due to the fact that the online experience is mostly passive, disconnected, and disembodied, meaning it's just your head. It's not your body. It's not your being. It's just your head what is in that communication, and the users are isolated from real world sensations and feelings. So you have this little bit sad lady sitting here. So, and then there's a lot of press around, especially since the COVID crisis, on you know, what is actually the problem of loneliness. And there's a lot of articles about that, and I just do some quotes. So loneliness and social isolation can be as bad for patients as chronic long-term conditions. COVID loneliness, so people who say we report, like from the BBC, who report on the fact that they have craved for human touch after months of no hugs and no contact in the COVID crisis. Also an article again by the BBC where it's mentioned that the loneliness is a bigger health risk than smoking or obesity. So more people get sick because of loneliness than because of something else. On the other hand, you have kind of a lot of quotes and press and articles about, you know, what basically dancing can bring to you. Meaning dancing is a very active, instantaneous thing. You don't have to be excellent in it. Anybody can dance. And it's people saying that social dancing is a lot of fun, and it's very enjoyable to be able to express yourself in creative ways, as well as experiment interactions with your partner while doing various movements. So you can look at the other. I do this. What does he do? And so forth. And then the last thing is this song. I think many people know it. Has been sung by Frank Sinatra, by Kurt Elling, by Danny Kaye. It's a song. It's a text from Irving Berlin, and it's the best things happen while you are dancing. So that's where we are. And so what we want to do is what we call embodied immersive interaction. So it's getting the body part of the interaction. And Carousel has the vision that with the current novel, with novel and imaginative combinations of things what are there, what is not, it's not rocket science, but things that are there, of AI and immersive interaction technologies, people will be able to feel each other, to touch each other, and to move together, even if they are physically in different spaces. So the idea is really to make them feel being together, to make them feel good. And so basically, what we want to do is not like do this or that better or do this or that technology, but really make the people feel joy and feel happy. So like this group of African children who look super happy. And then the ambition is what? It's very simple. It's very simple. What we want to do is combat loneliness by organizing online dance parties. So part of the program will be at the end, when we know better what's interesting and so forth, is to organize 1, 2, 3, 4 or more online dance parties. And the idea is that in those dance parties, like you see here, this folkloric dancing, what might be, I think, from the Eastern Europe, but also be from the Balkans or something, doesn't matter. But the idea is really that the people feel good by being socially and physically connected, even if they are not necessarily in the same place. What we will be focusing on is the interaction between individuals in pairs or in groups, and also on the fact that nobody is left out. Meaning you can be sometimes very lonely, even if you are sitting in a group of 100 people. And the idea is to also work on that. Meaning if there's 100 online people, but to try to mitigate the fact that people can be feeling lonely in it. So that's it, and I think especially Monica will say a lot of this, and of course about the AI part there will be a lot said by Philip, and then again Kenny will talk about everything he knows about interacting. I will show this again later, but we have a website, it's www.carouseldancing.org. We have a LinkedIn account, we have a Twitter, but we have a YouTube channel, we have a ResearchGate project, we have an Instagram account, and most interestingly, I think for hooking up with you are listening to us, we have this Discord channel interactive where we are talking about our project and about our concern. Teresa, I give you the floor.
Now switch to Monica. I will do this now. Okay, Monica becomes now the moderator.
Monica, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we can't hear you yet.
Okay, now you should be able to hear me.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Excellent. So thanks very much. Let me go back. So I am part of the within Carousel. I'm part of the validation and testing working group, which is all about measuring success. And by this, we do this by addressing the question: are we achieving our goal? Are we working properly towards making people feel connected through dance remotely and create joy as well? We tackle this aim by identifying measures of connectedness and measures of enjoyment, and then we apply those measures to people who are dancing in different scenarios, in couples or in groups or in crowds. And now I'm going to focus a little bit more in couples. So some measures. For connectedness, there are many ways of measuring connectedness. For example, we could ask people which of these diagrams here best capture their connection with their partner. Do they feel totally separate or totally together? Or we can also use other scales like kinesthetic empathy, which is the ability to imagine other people's movement in our own body. Now, for joy, there are many measures, but most of them are about long-term happiness. And we are more interested in short-term measures that we can actually relate to a single dance or a dance session. So existing validated instruments to measure these include questionnaires that measure, for example, flow, or graphical measures like this fun-o-meter and the smile-o-meter that can, people can use graphically to signal how happy they are, how joyful they are. We're going to get measures of connectedness and joy from people who are dancing, for example, in virtual reality under different conditions. And we're going to ask, for example, do people enjoy more when they're dancing alone or when they're dancing with a partner? What about if this partner is animated by another person or by an artificial intelligence? Is there a difference there? What about if their partner copies their movements? Is it different from if the partner mirrors their movements, for example? What happens if the partner has facial expressions? What happens if you can actually see the connection in VR when you're dancing? Are people happier when they can feel haptics, they can feel a vibration when they touch? Would dancers feel more connected if they animate an avatar together, like this camel? And what would happen if their partner looked like a giant teddy bear? Okay, so we're going to test some of these situations. And now for the study design, we're planning to do several studies, and for each of them we will be recruiting volunteers. And we will ask, first of all, this is the timeline from the top, we will ask for informed consent, and then we will collect some baseline measures of joy and connectedness. Then the participants will dance in different conditions for 2 minutes in each condition, for example. And after each dance, we're going to collect new measures of joy and connectedness. How happy and how connected did they feel in that scenario? Then we're going to compare the measures, which will allow us to quantify the effects on each condition. and then we will get some results. Of course, these results are made up. We haven't done this yet, but this is how our validation tests will help us refine the scenarios in order to maximize enjoyment and connectedness over the duration of the project and to beat loneliness. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. I'm now giving the moderator role to Philip. Let's try. Hi, Philip. I'm in the background.
Hi.
Hi, Philip.
So
Good to see you. We didn't say hello.
can you see my slides now?
Now it's you.
Good. Oops. So yes, I will briefly talk about the role of AI in this environment of dancing with remote people and machines, or AI. So first of all, we have to ask ourselves, what is the artificial intelligence? It's the ability, for concentrating on the short version here, finding what to do if you don't know what to do. It's this idea of being able to translate from the experience you had before previously into new situations that you might not have seen before, but still be able to do that and to do meaningful stuff, solve problems in those environments. And then artificial intelligence is the idea of doing that by machines, but the more short-term and I think more concrete version of AI here is the study of intelligent autonomous agents or systems. And now, if we look at what that actually means, there's this see, think, act paradigm, right? This that contains the elements of perception, of finding out what the world around looks like. So in this case here, this means understanding how, for the AI system, to understand what the human is, how the human is moving and reacting. But in order to react appropriately, we need to build a model of reality, of that motion, of that human. We need to represent that motion, do some reasoning, and probably what will be the next move, given the beat of the music, given maybe standard dance moves. We probably know something about what the other person will be doing or is likely to be doing, and then we need to plan what should the avatar be doing, and then actually we need to execute that. And we also always need to start over again, but also do error correction. If our assumptions might have been wrong, right, we have to correct this as quickly as possible. And then, of course, there's a lot of other things that fold into that to make that fast and secure, and to have ethical, obey ethical rules and things like that, which I don't have time to go into. We have actually done quite a bit of work on avatars, and the entire group has. Our work specifically has been focusing on autonomous driving and building models so that we can have virtual avatars, right? We can have virtual avatars in these virtual environments to train autonomous autonomous cars, autonomous vehicles. And what is really interesting to see here is that we as humans actually perceive motion very differently than machines do. Right? When I show this graph here to people and ask what they see, they typically tell me that they see a human moving, which actually is wrong, because the only thing you see is a couple of white dots moving on a black background. But of course, we as humans, we immediately have our background knowledge, and we understand what is happening. We understand. We know that if we know the person from which that data comes, that person would actually, we would be able with high probability to identify that people, and even better, we would be able to identify ourselves, even though we never see ourselves walking, of course, because our eyes are on top. So the idea is here to really, how can we actually perceive accurately the motion that we might only have camera data from? How can we parameterize that model? How can we style that model? Because different people have different styles of dancing. That's a key element of dancing, right? And we need to be able to predict the models, but there's also physical limitations of what is possible and what we can expect the other person to be doing. So we have to adapt to the counterpart. So this is a very quick overview of why AI is so important, specifically in that context of if you're dancing with another, with a virtual agent, with a teddy bear or whatever. But it's also important to have AI, even if just two people are dancing with each other, because we need to be able to recognize what they're doing and right, have to drive the feedback loop of touch sensors, as Carmen and Peter were just mentioning, and lots of other things that are relevant here. So AI is really a critical part of the entire project. Unfortunately, I only have a few minutes, and so there's of course a lot more that we can talk about, but that has to suffice for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Philip. I'm giving over to Kenny, but everybody out there, if you have questions, write them down. If you have a question to Philip, write them down, please, and send it to us. Would be great. And now Kenny. Kenny is the next.
Hi there. Can you all see this?
I see not. I see a white screen.
Okay.
Yes, I see it. Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect.
Oh, okay, back there. Okay, hi, I'm Professor Kenny Mitchell, Edinburgh Napier University and Carousel Research Lead. In this section, I'll cover the consortium's scientific challenges of how to make dancing online together more immersive and responsive, and highlight some of the achievements we've had so far in these early stages. So we loved getting together and having fun, especially if it's for a good cause. But this isn't so easy now, and so we have this super important basic need to try to make our online presence with gatherings more real and connected. And the most profound experiences in our lives can arise from moving together in synchrony, feeling each other's movements with music. It can be truly life-changing. Or simply being able to connect more tangibly with your partner, even when you're remote. Like this jewelry that can trigger touch remotely. I don't advise doing this in board meetings, but good to connect with your partner. If you've tried out an online dance party, it might look a lot like this, which can be pretty fun, but it's not really feeling like you're sharing the same space or even feeling like you're there with others, which is a pretty fundamental element of dancing together. Already since Dance Central, we can dance together in VR, and it looks a bit like this, where 4 players can arrange to meet in a lobby and play a challenge. However, motion tracking is limited to headsets and handsets, and the rest of your avatar is inferred. You know, there's some beat vibrations in controllers, but nothing super cohesive. So the state of the art is really a collection of individual technical solutions, which each might be very good, but not seen yet in a combined haptic audio visual experience. So if we want to go beyond the current state of the art for online dancing, a key element is making first physical contact online. So what are the main technical challenges of just enabling that physical avatar contact? Even just to touch each other with our fingertips remotely online. So that should be pretty straightforward, right? What if I just want my handset to vibrate when it touches the remote person's handset? That should be really easy. Well, if we break it down, all the steps involved in making physical touch happen, we find that not only the regular interactive loop latency for a local video game happens with input lag and display lag, we just introduced a global network connection into the loop. And regularly, this can all start to add up. to about half a second delay, even in optimistic system conditions. And half a second might not seem much, but in a dance with a physical connection with your partner, that's of course ideally instantaneous, or as close as we can get. So we're really dealing with how to address each of these latency stages and inventive and out of the box ways. First, we might consider a regular music rhythmic motion of dance to a beat, really simply to begin with, like this swaying dance. Then we mostly know at any given time where your remote partner should be next to you in the sway motion. So you in your local time space, you're in sync with your partner, even though your partner's movements might have happened half a second ago. So as Monica mentioned earlier, we're running experiments to evaluate how this format affects the experience, and it's just a start. If we know how our bodies move physically, we can make motion predictions to keep you in sync with your friends' avatars. Like this earlier work with Sheldon Andrews using body models and physics priors to solve for gaps in mocap data in real time. And this work from Seoul National University, which is appearing later this year at SIGGRAPH Asia, is quite relevant for us again, using physical models to make predictions on motion, and being able to deal with uncalibrated camera setups and moving cameras that might arise in your home in a VR setup. So this could be helpful in our network variable latency dance scenario. But what if we want to scale up to larger groups with 20 dancers or even 100 or thousands like Live Aid in 1985, but all seeing, hearing and feeling each other? Improbable with their KCP network stack earlier this year ran a test with thousands of participants with some interaction like running to a blue light, running to a yellow light. If scaling dance to these numbers, perhaps it's only feasible if those near you are fully synced with body track motion, haptics and local spatial audio, and those further away are simulated to a greater degree with their body presence signals updating less frequently. Additionally, it occurs having your friends nearby as real as possible in sync is all that matters, and those further away with less updates, you still feel connected to part of a huge crowd. So we consider to partially simulate people's avatars over in order to cope with system bandwidth and latency physical limits. Why not go the whole way and consider how to simulate a kind of artificial general motion intelligence for your one-to-one dance partner or with crowd dance partners? So in this direction, we're looking at creating a character initially, just be able to react to some movements, then dance in pairs with improvisation, and further meaningfully integrate into a group dance. This IEEE VR 2018 work is a good background, but only works for a subset of motions without synchronization and only a kinematics-based model. So we're in the initial stages. We have some early progress to show. This uses deep mimic-based controller in a VR setting with University College London's UBIC framework. And this explores the use. Sorry. Nope. That explores the use of DRECON-based controller, and we've been trialing various capture setups for both generation and ground truth. So we're using that to generate data for deep learning training and also live real-time capture with using low-cost stereo cameras. ICCV and SIGGRAPH, we've already published motion synthesis from simple textual descriptions. And using this deep residual mixture models, we've applied to conditioning movement for positional and directional goal seeking. An active learning method for speeding up the process of training animatronic avatars with facial animation from physical skin simulated data. Alto have organized a SIGCHI workshop and explored visualizations for training and learning choreography. On further techniques for immersive rendering, Napier have contributed gaze adaptation for improved eye contact, volumetric light scattering using optical see-through augmented reality glasses, and a patent on relative chroma compensation for AR glasses. So finally, we participated in a workshop, a position paper, IEEE VR this year, a Birds of a Feather event at SIGGRAPH this year also, and of course today's event. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Kenny. It's really great. And I think we are slowly coming to our presentation ending. Peter, do you still want to give a final wording, or can we start with a QA session? Peter?
No, I think it's fine. I showed the slide on the on all the channels we use for trying to communicate and keep in contact. What I would say is that of all that, you just have to remember one. It's www.carouseldancing.org, and all the rest is referenced from there. And I once again want to say to you that please join our Discord if you are interested in this team. I just got some mails from people. Just join the Discord and we discussed on that. I think it will be very findable. Of course, respond to the people, but do join our Discord. You will be more than happy. Yeah. So that's my point. So I have nothing else to say, Carmen.
Yes, thank you. So Teresa is our co-moderator. Hi, Teresa. You are the first asking question. And if one of us, of the speakers, wants to answer, just come in with your video or raise your hand if you're all there. You can all come in with your videos, all the speakers. If it works, we do it. So, Teresa, do you have a question to us?
Yes, I do. First of all, I would like to know if you will make a dance party during your project, and if we can join. And that also is connected to a question from Ulan, who asked if it's a project where you can dance, I guess, if I'm understanding it correctly, one or two together, like a partner dance, or can you also participate in a group? Yeah, Peter.
Okay, first about the will we do a party? So the good news is yes. How would you join? Yeah, so the good news is yes, we are going to do parties. How would you join? Meaning the logistics of that are not completely there yet, but it will be announced on our Discord. It will be announced on other Discords. It will be announced on the website, and of course we will. Maybe if there are too many people, we will have to figure out about how to push the walls and so forth. But yes, we organize a party. We organize several parties. And the rest of the question, Teresa, was?
Yeah, it was if it's a one or two kind of thing. If you can also join. Yeah.
Kenny, you want to take that?
Sorry.
Oh yeah. For one, like, so we scale the experience. So we start off with pair dance, one-to-one dancing with your partner who's in a remote location, and then scaling that up, hopefully maintaining the fidelity of the experience, so that you're able to hear their movements with spatial audio and feel their connection with haptics devices. So our ideal ambition is to scale up massively, but we're in early stages at the moment. So even if we have a cool club scene dance party, this will be a great achievement. Yep.
Wonderful. Yeah, I have another question. It's from Zahur. I'm sorry if I pronounce your name incorrectly. I hope it's correct. He is asking about more of an ethical question. Is the security of the participants kind of safe? So what happens if someone gets emotionally attached to a virtual dance partner, or if there's something else not really good happening? If there is, how can you be safe in the virtual world? Do you have any ideas, or is that in process, how you can stay safe in the artificial intelligence in the virtual world?
I start first. A quick answer. As a project manager, we had to appoint an external ethical board. This is very important because we are talking here about trustworthy AI. This is the high level. We have a lot of regulations now in Europe, and we have to follow the European trustworthy AI and legal regulations, and we cannot even do it internally. We have to have an external board, which I think makes sense. And so we already have an ethical plan, and we follow step by step. How exactly everything will be super safe in the future, I cannot say, but we do have this ethical advisory board.
That's really nice to hear. But yeah, I also like to stay safe on the internet. So yeah, it's very cool. Then I have a question for Ms. Tamares. Are there any questions in your, oh, sorry, the question just skipped. Yeah. Are there any questions in your mood evaluation regarding the stress or anxiety level around people?
So we haven't planned to do something like that yet, because we're in early stages, but we will take into account, yes, it is kind of related to the ethical question. We will take into account well-being, stress, and any even self-confidence, or how confident are people in their own dance. So all of these things we will have to take into account when we're planning our studies. Yes, so we will do that in the future, but like Carmen was saying, I don't know the details just yet, but it's good thanks for reminding us.
Yeah, that question came from from Ulan again. Yeah, thank you very much. Then another question about emotions again. Will you, as the project participants, also address emotional interaction with virtual dance partners? So probably just not only dancing together, but maybe more communicative on an emotional level.
So I think I can answer that. Indeed, so emotion is one of the aspects that we're going to be eliciting. So when you dance with someone, emotions happen, you feel happy. So happiness, joy, is one of the possible emotions. You may feel attachment is also another emotion. So yes, we are going to focus on joy because our goal is towards happiness, but we will be monitoring emotions that happen during the dance. And yes, and we may be surprised, and something, some emotions that we hadn't foreseen are elicited in people. And yeah, we're interested in looking at that as well. So nice question, thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much, Charlie, in this case. Then another question from Stefan is, will the project go more into VR or more into AR, or if it goes into both directions simultaneously?
Yeah. So we try and push those frontiers simultaneously. The initial demonstrators, prototypes are mostly in VR. We're looking forward to kind of a new range of augmented reality devices coming to market. So we expect that will be when we integrate some of these earlier AR technologies that we've published. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Then another question is concerning the size of the groups. Are there any limits to the maximum number of people who can participate in a dance party, or if it's infinite?
I mean, wouldn't it be great if everyone could just join on Earth and somehow interact with each other at the same time? It would be awesome. You know, and I think, you know, what I was mentioning was, you know, the people around you, your friends, like close proximity spatially with you in a dance matter most, I think. But being able to see everyone, you know, like in a stadium, also gives you that feeling of being in sync in a time and a place. So yeah, we want to scale it. Ideally, it might take 3 years, but yeah, that's where we want to head. Great.
Kenny, we have to be careful there, right? You know this question: what happens if all the Chinese jump from the chair at the same time? Would that cause an earthquake? Now, if we do synchronized dancing across the entire world, we have to take care of environmental impact there. I mean, I'm just kidding, of course, but it's an interesting thought.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think we have to do our time warping to make sure they appear synchronized, but they are actually not.
Yeah. Sorry, there are a lot of questions, so I'm trying to get a whole picture right now.
It's great that there are so many questions.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there's one question. Are you able to join? Wait, again, it skipped. Where is it again? It was something about, if I'm correct, if you are able to join the project when you are a VR company. I'm very sorry about this. Maybe I'm trying to find another one and then go back to, oh yeah, no. Okay. I'm very sorry about this. I'll just ask one of my questions so I can go through the other questions and maybe, yeah, ask them more correctly. I would like to know if you have any thoughts on if it's possible that we will lose the ability to interact, in this case dance, in real life together if people increasingly meet virtually, or do you think it would encourage people more to, you know, live a more social life, maybe because they're more used to being around people, even if it was only virtually?
Monica, maybe that's for you.
Maybe I can start and then others can fill in, if that's okay, Teresa.
Yeah.
So, the thing is somewhat, do you believe this online dancing will replace the existing dance rooms? And I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Meaning we are offering a new possibility for people who, for some reason, either, you know, there's a climate crisis, there's all kinds of things going on. People will be asked to travel less. There will be maybe festivals will be scaled down or whatever. You know, there will be changes. And in that environment, I think we have a role. In the COVID environment, we also have a role. But we will not replace the fact that people will just be happy sitting together and feeling each other as physical bodies and so forth. So it will coexist. It's a new option you're creating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if I may just add, so I think it's really worth thinking about this, and I've thought about this many times within this project. So are we contributing towards going towards the matrix? So like you know, that we don't live in the world that we live in a simulated world. And this project and many current AI and VR projects certainly are going in that direction. But I'm with Peter. I think And I hope, and my wish is no, this will not replace reality. This is more for people who don't have the chance to go out dancing. This is one activity, but hopefully this will encourage people to say, oh, I really like dancing in VR, but also in real life.
Yeah, that would be great, I think. Yeah, then another question from Alessandro. He would like to know if it's part of your plan that, or he thinks it seems like that it can also be a tool to be used by choreographers to design and test new choreographies. Ooh, hard word. Is this part of your plan, or would it just be great if that also happens?
I'm the first. I must say there is already a lot of research also by Google done for choreographs. It was the first step toward dance. How could a choreograph really, basically archive all the great moves of this ensemble and then make out of this new choreographic dance? It's great work out there. But here in this project, I must say, I keep always focusing on this non-perfect dancers, like everybody, the ones who are not professional, the ones who just feel lonely, and maybe just this swaying, like a dance of swaying is already the dance to make them feel good or listen. So we do have a strong focus on this everybody, and now I give it over to Monica. We have super professional in here, tango dancer professionals. So we also focus on making dance for couples or for groups really enjoyable as dancing together. So Monica, you as a tango professional, what do you think?
So not just with tango, I think with everything. So this indeed the focus is on connectedness between people who necessarily don't know how to dance, but I think this definitely has the potential to open up a new field of choreography. So imagine once you've trained AI with the dance style, the dance move of many dancers, you can maybe get AI generated new choreographies who were unheard of. And I think this potentially this technology and these interactions will potentially generate new uses, new functions that we now do not know about. They will happen during use, when people use them and interact in them. So yeah, choreography might be one of them.
Yeah, that would be really nice too. Yeah, one question for Philip. Is there a possibility for totally artificial dance partners in case someone wants to dance and practice without an embarrassment, maybe?
Absolutely, this is a key element of this project that and that's why I mean I only mentioned it briefly, but this where we capture the motion models of real people, but also movement models from dance moves and styles of how to move in order to generate artificially moving characters, not just humans, right? We talked about the teddy bear. And so, yes, that is the whole idea, that it is also possible. You don't have to have a real person on the other side, which is actually could be a strong support for humans, right? I mean, a lot of people are shy, don't feel like they dance good enough, and so on. So they would maybe shy away from doing the dance with other humans, but they might be perfectly fine training their dance moves and their dance with a virtual character. And hopefully that then is a step towards engaging with other humans as well. That there's obviously there are ethical issues and societal aspects that we have to take into account there. Yeah.
Yes.
Do we have time for another question?
Maybe the last, and then our show ending.
Before that, if I didn't read a question from anybody, we also encourage you to write us an email. If you still want your question to be answered, then we can do it that way. or if you have any proposals. I see from Ruben also something about a collaboration. You can, email us. And then we have the question from Stefan again, that the visual appearance of agents or avatars may influence heavily the acceptance of the dance partners, as we already know, maybe from other cartoon characters. Will you investigate this any further? Do you have any ideas how you can, kind of, not make that so it happens? Yeah.
So briefly, yes, that is one of the dimensions that we are planning. One of the many things that we want to explore is the appearance of your partner. If they look like a human, if they look like a teddy bear, if they look like yourself, we could potentially experiment. Indeed, that is a factor that will, as you say, will influence the acceptance and how comfortable you feel with someone. Yeah, how connected as well.
Okay, great. That was a very nice last question. And then before I hand over the role again to Carmen, I would just like to say that in the question panel, there were lots of comments about that this is a very interesting project and they're looking forward to seeing how it will go. And a lot of thank yous. I would just like to give that to you, the project managers, and
Carmen?
also it's a
Carmen?
very interesting project.
Carmen, while you are speaking, can I show my slides?
Yes.
Put the slide on the website and so forth.
The last way you can reach us. That's a good idea, Peter. So
but you have to give me I have not the button to.
So now again we are coming to the end of our cafe. It's always only 1 hour. We thank you that you all have been there, and we are very excited about your questions and about your input. And please use these channels, including Discord, to connect to us. You also, through the invitations, you always see my email, so I will forward. So if you say I want to talk to Kenny and you don't get Kenny's, then I forward to Kenny or to Philip or to Peter or to Monica. So feel free, but here's our Carousel wonderful website and everything. Connect to us there. We mean it serious. We mean it serious that we really invite you all with your imaginations, because it is really a long path. It's a Pathfinder project. So we can think about things we want to do in 10 years. So bring in your suggestions and at least also join us in the parties. And thank you again and have a good evening. And thank you for everybody, also speakers, also Teresa and Peter and Philip and Kenny and Monica. Thank you. No? Bye-bye. No?
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.